Good morning, friends. Today we will study chapter 12 of NCERT Biology, that is biotechnology and its application. We have already uploaded first video of biotechnology and its various principles, in which we have discussed what is biotechnology and what are the techniques which are involved in biotechnology, like genetic engineering and recombinant DNA technology, and what are the various other approaches like PCR and all other techniques. Now in this video we will discuss what are the applications of biotechnology. Biotechnology, we know that it is basically industrial scale production of pharmaceuticals and biological products using genetically modified microbes, fungi, plants and animals. Or we can also define biotechnology as application of biological system to agriculture, industry and environment. We have already discussed what are the principles and what are the techniques. Now we will discuss what are the applications. So this biotechnology, its application includes first therapeutics. Second is diagnosis. In diagnosis of various disease, biotechnology is useful. Third is genetically modified crops for agriculture. Fourth is processed food. Fifth is bioremediation. Sixth is waste treatment, and last is energy production. So these are all the applications of biotechnology. We'll study all the applications in detail. The main three critical research areas of biotechnology includes: first, providing the best catalyst in the form of improved organism using microbes or pure enzymes. Second is creating optimal conditions through engineering for a catalyst to act. That is how this catalyst acts in optimal condition. And third and very important is downstream processing technologies to purify the protein or organic compounds. And with the help of downstream processing, we can get various vaccines and drugs which can be launched in the market. So we will study each and every application of biotechnology in detail. First we will study biotechnological application in agriculture, how this biotechnology is useful in agriculture. So food production can be increased by various methods like agrochemical based agriculture, as we all know. Second is organic agriculture, and third is genetically engineered or crop based agriculture. So these are the three ways by which food production can be increased. Nowadays organic agriculture is very important and useful, as we are getting fruits without the use of chemicals. And genetically engineered crop based agriculture means we are growing crops which are genetically modified with the help of biotechnological approaches. And these crops have certain special features, like these are drought resistant, insect resistant, and the yield is also high. So all these factors, if we want a particular plant with all these factors, we can engineer it genetically with the help of biotechnology. So this is the application of in agriculture. Now green revolution successfully increased the food production many folds by using better management practices and use of agrochemical fertilizers and pesticides. Further, the production is not possible by using these methods. So to overcome this, genetically modified crop is used. And plants, bacteria, fungi, animals whose genes have been altered by manipulation, these are known as genetically modified organisms. So all the plants, bacteria, fungi in which we are altering the gene, altering a particular gene or manipulating a particular gene, these organisms are known as genetically modified organisms. Now these genetically modified plants have many applications. Like we have already discussed, first, these made crop more tolerant to abiotic stress. So with the help of genetically engineered organism or biotechnology, we can get crops which are more tolerant to abiotic stress. Second, it reduces reliance on chemical pesticides. Third, it helps to reduce the post-harvest losses. As we all know that there are many post-harvest losses. So this can be minimized with the help of biotechnological applications, because in biotechnology there are certain, like tissue culture technique is there, in which we can grow thousands of plants in the lab. So this post-harvest losses can be reduced. Next is increased efficiency of mineral usage by plants. So this increased efficiency of mineral usage by plants. This efficiency of mineral usage can also be increased with the help of biotechnology. And last is enhanced nutritional value of food. Example, vitamin A rich rice. So with the help of genetically modified organism, or with the help of genetic engineering, we can modify the crop, we can increase the nutritional value. Like vitamin A value can be increased in particular rice crop. Now, what are the applications of biotechnology in the production of pest resistant plants? Pest resistant plants decrease the amount of pesticides used. Now, Bt toxin, as we know that it is toxin which is produced by bacterium Bacillus thuringiensis. Now, Bt toxin gene has been cloned from bacteria, and it is exposed to provide resistance to insect without the need of insecticides. An effect created by biopesticides, like there are various crops which are insect resistant, like Bt cotton, Bt corn, rice, tomato, soybean, etc. These are modified with the help of this Bt toxin gene. So this is the diagram. We can see this is Bt cotton, this Bacillus thuringiensis. Now we know that this Bt toxin gene is found in bacterium Bacillus thuringiensis. This Bacillus thuringiensis produce proteins that kill certain insects like leptopterans, coleopterans, beetles, diphterans, flies, mosquitoes, etc. So in this way it is providing the insecticide resistance, it is killing the certain insects. Now Bacillus thuringiensis produce crystals that contain a toxic insecticidal protein. This toxic protein is present in the bacterium and is present in the inactive prototoxin form. But as soon as the insect ingests this inactive form, due to alkaline nature of the gut, it is converted into active form, and it binds to the midgut of the epithelial cells and create pores. And further, this process causes the swelling and lysis, and finally it results in death of the insect. So this is the process how this is providing insecticidal protein. So this protein is present in inactive form, but as soon as the as soon as it ingests, it is converted into active form, and it causes the death of the insect. Now the gene from the Bacillus thuringiensis have been incorporated into various plants like cotton, maize, rice, etc. The toxin is coded by gene which is known as Cry gene. So this is the Cry gene which is coded by the toxin. So the protein coded by the Cry1AB and Cry2AB control the cotton bollworms, bollworm. So this is the protein which is coded by this gene. Further, in agriculture, another application of is pest resistant plants. There are various nematodes like Melandrina incognita. This infests the roots of tobacco plant and causes the reduction yield. Now how this occur? The infestation of these nematodes can be prevented by the process which is known as RNA interference. Now we should understand what is this RNA interference. RNA interference, it is present in all eukaryotic organisms as a cellular defense mechanism by silencing specific RNA which is complementary to double-stranded RNA molecule, and it binds to it and prevents the translation of mRNA. So this is the way it is working. It is working as cellular defense by binding to double-stranded RNA and prevents the translation of mRNA. The source of complementary double-stranded RNA may be from an infection by virus having RNA genomes or mobile genetic elements that replicate through RNA intermediate. Using agrobacterium vectors, nematode-specific genes were introduced into the host plants. So the introduction of this DNA in both sense and antisense RNA is present in the host cell. Both these RNA, these are complementary to each other and form double-stranded RNA and initiate the RNA silencing. Now this is the diagram. We can see that host plant generated double-stranded RNA triggers protection against the nematode infection. This is transgenic plants. These are the roots of typical control plant and transgenic plants. This is transgenic plants. This is control plant. So how this is working in this plant? Now we will study how this biotechnology is helpful in medicine, or what is the application of biotechnology in medicine. The double-stranded DNA technologies or recombinant DNA technology process have made impact in the area of health culture, enabling mass production of more drugs. At present, 30 recombinant therapeutics have been approved for human use, and in India 12 of these are marketed. So with the help of biotechnologies, various drugs are invented which are every day launched in the market. First is genetically engineered insulin. Adult onset diabetes can be controlled by taking insulin at regular levels. Now the main source of insulin was isolation of insulin from animals. Nowadays, insulin can be obtained from bacterium using techniques of biotechnology. Insulin was either extracted from pancreas of surrogate cattle and pigs, but insulin from these sources develop allergy or other type of reactions. So first insulin was extracted from the cattle and pigs, but what was the drawback? This insulin was source of energy in many animals. So insulin consists of two polypeptide chain A and chain B, and these chains are linked by disulfide bridges. In human, insulin is synthesized as prohormone, which contains an extra stretch called C-peptide, which is absent in mature insulin. The main challenge for the production of insulin using recombinant DNA technique was getting insulin assembled into mature form. So this is the difference कि mature form is having C-peptide, extra stretch of C-peptide. An American company, Eli Lilly in 1983 prepared two DNA sequences corresponding to A and B chain of human insulin, and they were further introduced into the plasmid of E. coli to produce insulin. In chain A and chain B were produced separately, extracted and combined by creating disulfide bond to form human insulin. So this was the scientist Eli Lilly in 1983 who prepared both the chains and they were extracted and combined to form further human insulin. This is the diagram. We can see that this is proinsulin, that is inactive form, and now this proinsulin with this free C-peptide is converted into human insulin. So this maturation of proinsulin into human insulin after removal of C-peptide. So this proinsulin is converted to human insulin. Now second is gene therapy. First we should understand what is gene therapy. Gene, we know that gene is a segment of DNA. So the segment of DNA or the therapy which is involved with the gene is known as gene therapy. And we know that a particular defect, if there is a particular disease in organism, so particular disease or particular characteristic trait is carried by a particular gene. So if there is particular disease, we can transfer a normal gene and that characteristic trait can be corrected. So gene therapy is a collection of methods that allows correction of genes defect that has been diagnosed in child or embryo. This method is applied in a person with hereditary disease. So basically we know that gene is the unit of hereditary. So all the hereditary disease can be corrected with this gene therapy. In these methods, genes are inserted into the person's cells and tissues to treat the disease. The correction of gene defect involves delivery of normal gene into the individual or embryo to take over the function and compensate for non-functional gene. So we know that a particular defect is because of a particular misfunctioning of a gene. So this non-functional gene can be isolated and a normal gene can be inserted and that genetic defect can be corrected. So this is gene therapy. The first clinical gene therapy was done in 1990 to a 4-year girl with adenosine deaminase therapy. This disorder is caused due to deletion of gene for adenose deaminase that is essential for immune system to function. This enzyme, that is adenosine deaminase, it is essential for the immune system to function. So this is also genetic defect. This defect is treated by enzyme replacement therapy in which functional ADA is given to the patient by injection or bone marrow transplant. So first clinical gene therapy was done with a 4-year girl with this ADA deficiency in which the replacement was done with injection or bone marrow transplant. In gene therapy methods, lymphocytes from the blood of the patient, they are grown in culture in the medium outside the body. A functional ADA, that is cDNA, is then introduced into these lymphocytes and after that they are returned back to the patient. So in this method, periodic infusion of such genetically lymphocytes is needed. If gene isolated from bone marrow cells producing the ADA is introduced into the cells at early embryonic stages, it could be a permanent cure. So basically if this gene therapy is done at early embryonic stage, this acts as permanent cure of the disease as in case of ADA deficiency. Another application of biotechnology in medicine is molecular diagnosis. Conventional method of diagnosis such as serum or urine analysis is not able to early identify the disease or particular pathogen or virus. So following methods have been diagnosed like recombinant DNA technology, PCR, that is polymerase chain reaction, and last is enzyme linked immunosorbent assay, that is ELISA. So these are the techniques of biotechnology by which we can diagnose a particular pathogen or virus. Symptoms of the disease appear when the concentration of the pathogen get increased significantly. Low concentration of bacteria or virus can be detected by amplification of nucleic acid by PCR. So PCR is important because it can detect low concentration of bacteria and virus. It detects the mutation in the gene in cancer patient. PCR is done to detect the HIV in AIDS patient, and various genetic disorders can be detected by using this PCR technology. So this polymerase chain reaction, which is a technique of biotechnology, is very important for detecting various diseases like AIDS, cancer, genetic disorders, and moreover it requires very low concentration of bacteria and viruses. A single standard DNA or RNA having radio labeled molecule is allowed to hybridize with the complementary DNA in the clone cells, and this is done by autoradiography. The clone having the mutated gene will not appear in the photographic gene. So this is another technique, autoradiography, in which we can detect a particular disease. ELISA is based on antigen antibody interaction, and this is also done to detect HIV, that is AIDS. So infection by pathogen can be detected by presence of antigens like proteins, glycoprotein, etc. Another application is transgenic animals. Now, what are transgenic animals? Animals that have had their DNA manipulated to possess and express a foreign gene is known as transgenic animals. So, transgenic animals are those animals in which genetic manipulation of gene is done. So, there are various transgenic animals have been developed like transgenic mice, rats, rabbit, pigs, sheep, fishes have been produced using biotechnology. Common reasons for the development. Now, what are the reasons for the development of these transgenic animals? First is normal physiology and development. So, with the help of biotechnology or transgenic animals, they are designed to allow the study of gene regulated and how they affect the normal function of the body. Example, the study of complex factors involved in growth such as insulin-like factor by introducing genes from other species that alter the formation of this factor, studying the biological effects that results in the information is obtained about the biological role of the factor in the body. So with the help of this genetic engineering or transgenic animals, various normal physiology development which are taking place in the body can be studied. Next is various disease can be studied with the help of transgenic animals. These transgenic animals, they are designed to increase the understanding of how these genes contribute to the development of a particular disease, and there are various models have been developed for diseases like cancer, cystic fibrosis, Alzheimer's disease, etc. Third is biological products. Transgenic animals that produce useful biological products can be created by introduction of the portion of DNA, that is genes that codes for a particular protein, such as human protein codes for alpha-1 antitrypsin, and it is used to treat emphysema. So these transgenic animals are also important because they are useful to know a particular biological product and its function. The first transgenic cow, Rosie, produced human protein enriched milk, that is alpha lactoalbumin, which is 2.4 gram per liter. Another application is in the vaccine safety. Transgenic mice, they are developed, are used in testing the safety of the vaccine before they are given to humans. Polio vaccine was tested on transgenic mice and on monkey. So these transgenic animals are also used for testing the vaccines before they are given to human body, because vaccine can cause various side effects. So these are first done on transgenic animals. Next is chemical safety testing. So transgenic animals are also, they carry genes which make more sensitive to toxic substances than on non-transgenic animal. So it can result in chemical safety testing. So these transgenic animals also used in any testing of a particular chemical. Now, what are the ethical issues? The Indian government has set organizations such as GEAC, that is Genetic Engineering Approval Committee, which will make decisions regarding the validity of the genetically modified research and safety of introducing organisms for public services. So there is a particular genetic engineering approval committee which will make all the decision how these organisms are made and how this vaccine and all is how this biotechnology is working. Biopatent. A patent is a right granted by the government to an inventor to prevent others from making the commercial use of his invention. Biopiracy is the term used to refer the use of bioresources by multinational companies and other organizations without proper authorization from other countries and people concerned without compensatory payment. So in 1997, an American company got this patent right on basmati rice, through the US Patent Trademark Office. So these ethical issues are very important as new patents are coming, as new patents have been discovered. This new variety of basmati had actually been delivered from the Indian farmer's variety and was crossed with semi-DOC varieties and claimed as an invention or a novelty. So anything which is new, this comes under ethical issues. So please press the bell icon and subscribe my channel to get more videos.